Well, hello again, and welcome back to Garage Alchemy. I'm Warren, or Pope Kale, or Wazza. I got called a few things, but anyway, what I do here is I'm just a retiree living in Thailand, working out what people are doing with all this AI crap these days and trying to sort of work out how I could use it in my retirement. One of the things that I have seen coming up over the different interwebs and different YouTube channels we see out there is how people are building their own knowledge bases. This is one of the things that I think we're all trapped on. You ask it a question and then 5 minutes later you ask it the same question. It's completely forgotten everything. So how do you deal with that? Well, there's been a few people. I think Andrew Karpathy came up with a proposal a little while ago on an X feed. I picked up on the idea through a channel called Matt Wolf. He did an idea on the same exercise. And then over the course of, last couple of weeks, there's a lot of people out there doing it. So I thought, well, I'm retired. The only thing I lack in is it's just a memory. I'm 65 years old and I forget what I was doing yesterday. It'd be nice to actually remember things. So let's build a knowledge base that we could probably leverage to sort of make our life a bit easier. Everybody seems to be on the same sort of, same ball of wick. So it also fits into this whole long-term project as the ultimate librarian that would sort of basically be your go-to guide for navigating this ever-complicated future. That's a bit of an introduction. I didn't want to make it too long. So what I want to do is pivot across now and talk about where we are currently with the project. So yeah, things are moving along. So let's take a quick look at it. So getting across to the screen here. Yeah, there we go. This has all been done while you weren't watching, right? If you joined the Discord channel and come and said hello or something like that, we could probably do it together. I have a few people that do pop in and see where I'm up to, and they do sort of say, oh, okay, and I think they leave because those people are, what you're doing is it sounds a bit complicated to me. We live in Thailand. We eat rice. Come on. We're retired. We don't have to do this shit anymore. But yeah, again, and even Jerry asked me sort of what would I use it for? They said, well, that's probably the next target. How can I implement something where it can actually retrieve something from this knowledge that we've just now stored in a location on our system. This is all documented on GitHub, by the way. Links are down below. You're quite welcome to just drop in and follow the project as we go along. But more to the point, the YouTube channel will follow the project in snippets, and we try to keep them as condensed as possible. Anyway, moving right along, one of my biggest challenges, as I said in the last video, was this token usage. So again, I'm challenged with this whole token usage thing. So if I swap over to the other interface, which is Codex, and I go over here and go to that screen, I can look here and I look at my account, and my account tells, or maybe the account tells me I've used 27 million tokens, or I've had a peak usage of 16.5 million tokens. I'm just looking for how much it costs me. There was a button I pressed before. I think we do. There are usage remaining. There we go. So this morning when I logged in, it said I had 98% free, and it was absolutely blank last night. So I still have no idea how the billing works. I was ready to actually give them more money last night because I actually wanted to proceed further last night, but it wouldn't let me. This morning when I got in, the actual interface updated again. So this is another thing that traps us. We really never know where we are. Now we are, as far as I'm concerned, bug testers. People are probably on a sort of forum there somewhere sort of saying, well, that didn't work or this didn't work. I had something not work for me today as well, and we'll cover that in this hopefully as short as I can make it video. So anyway, I got in this morning, I checked my email. Oh, this is yesterday actually. Yesterday I found out, it's Sunday morning, there was something came through about a certificate. So we had to do that put some tokens, finding out where the certificate was, and it's something. It's a third-party PPL AI file upload S3 Amazon designed URL. Probably from one little test probably something I did on Perplexity. I know I've got a little oil price graph there, which is probably called in the cloud somewhere, and it's probably got a predefined token in it. Well, that somehow got stored in the library. So we had to make a little bit pivot yesterday on the code. I did that. But this morning I got in and said, what is the current status? So
Ariadne looks healthy and caught up. Inbox, 0 markdown files pending. Processed, 486 documents. Failed, 1 document. Review, 487 files. Duplicate routing, 52 documents under archive duplicates. The latest completed run, processed 24 inputs, 22 successful, 2 correctly identified duplicates, and 0 new failures. The new retry logic is doing its job. Many first attempt JSON failures recovered on attempt 2, and at least 1 recovered on attempt 3.
anyway, so the input ingest routine is at my, let's say, probably 95% clean now. Maybe a little bit more logic. I'm still not 100% clear on the top level definitions that it's broken all the summaries into. But again, I'm just looking at it from a human perspective, and I really don't look at it from, how a computer looks at it, which is where we're going to in this conversation today, which watching the time, it seems they're going to just run away from us. Anyway, the answer came back and it just said there is so much done. I pivoted back into a ChatGPT. As I said, I could do this from the main window, but I find it's a lot easier in my head if I'm on separate. It's just the way I work. You don't have to, it's just the way it works for me. So I basically fed them back in and sort of said, we've got a summary, we know what we're doing. Basically said, if you'd like to talk about it, and I don't mind the discussion process. It doesn't seem to be costing me anything to discuss these projects, but it helps me align my thinking into more of a computer sort of, framework to sort of say what it's doing in the background. Well, to cut a long story short, we sort of said, well, we need to move it to the next stage. So we just basically threw a question at it, I think, which the question was over here again. We basically defined a goal. Okay, enable ChatGPT to answer questions using my knowledge vault before relying on its own knowledge. So before it goes and searches somewhere else, check my knowledge first, because we've gathered a lot of information. I want to make sure that I'm going to use it. Okay, so we sort of fed this back into the system. It went away for 3 minutes and 23 seconds and did all this. Now, I'm going to say, yes, it did all this and wrote this code and made these changes. They're already committed, by the way. I waited an hour for that. I sat there thinking, and I'm going, well, okay, I'm only using the Terra Lite model. How long does it take? All the other things, the longest thing we had to think about yesterday was only 4 minutes and something seconds any long. So I waited an hour. I even pivoted back to ChatGPT and, should I wait any longer? And even there we discussed it. Well, sometimes these things can happen. And ultimately, we eventually just basically crashed the process. Well, there is on your taskbar down here, I don't know if that's been covered up or not. I just went in here and just exited the program and started it all up again. And I opened the document and the text was there. So basically it had finished the task in 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And like in the other situation with the images of 3 or 4 days ago, it just failed to return a result. Again, is there a knowledge? Is there a place I'm supposed to be feeding back? This does look like beta testing regime here. That should not be a situation. There should be an error message to say, well, it's not come back, not just keep you sitting there with all little bells and whistles turning, Again, it's a set code that's not really telling you anything. Little artifacts on the screen. Some sort of real thinking process would be nice. Anyway, that's just a bit of a complaint about the whole system. Again, I'm not designing it. I'm designing a way around all the bugs. If I can say this is my code, I can look into it myself. Whereas that's a bug in their code. I got no insight what's going on. Cut a long story short, so we did these suggestions were then sort of applied, and then we sort of basically got it to this configuration change, and we applied that configuration, and then we pivoted into what we call Ariadne 0.8. And so what we started with there today, I wanted to say, okay, we've built all this structure. That's right, that we missed a piece. In this final process, we also built an MCP service in the background. So that's what we've got. We've got an MCP service running on our knowledge vault now. I had to find out how to actually put it in. That was part of the problem. How do I put this into the configuration so it actually uses my knowledge vault? That was another series of questions that probably took an hour with ChatGPT, just teaching me how it worked and saying, well, it probably doesn't, which then forced me to pivot across to here and sort of say, okay, well, demonstrate that Ariadne knowledge vault is working. Search the knowledge vault for Synology. So it went through away. The vault contains Synology documents and told me which documents were in. And yeah, so basically I realized realized that after we built the MCP and we got it, we worked out how to feed that configuration into the actual codex system. Again, I could show you all that as well, but it's probably different for you to me. I just let it do it. I just told just do it, and it did it for me anyway. So again, I know where those changes have been made because I looked at the change log and where the changes are made and looked at the code. So I got a basic idea. But that's where my code knowledge is. Like, I don't want to write code. No, as I said before, my last code writing was Visual Basic back in '98. And that's the last thing I want to be doing. I want to say, write me some code to do this, write me some code to do that, but write it at my speed so I understand the processes going along. I think when Matt did his example, he only had probably 3 things he threw at his system, and it just basically completed his in 3 passes. But he was burning the high-end level tokens as well. I'm plotting through here on light. What have we done? So from yesterday when I ran out of the tokens, this morning we built the MCP server, and we've now managed to actually sort of give us, viable answers out of it. So how many tokens did that cost me? Well, as I said, from this morning's exercise, we had, I think it was 83% after we did the query of where we stood, and now it's 41%. Again, so it's this gauge just is really just getting me a bit lost, because that was a fair bit of code writing as far as I'm concerned, and what we got was actually quite productive. As I said, we've got an MCP server running on our knowledge. I then sort of said, compare my knowledge vault with the MCP architecture of what we've been following. So, and it actually broke down the whole thing into what my one is versus what Matt Wolf's one is, where I focus. Mine is a different type of knowledge source. Mine focuses on knowledge retrieval rather than, I think they sort of said his focuses on agent interaction. It's a focus on agent technologies, as opposed for me. I don't work. I'm not going to have tasks that, apart from my video exercise, which is really more creative work. There's nothing you can really automate. I got to get out there with a camera, if you know what I mean, and start shooting a video. Different story. But yeah, so I'm doing a different knowledge base. It's basically retrieving. Yeah, it came back and gave me a valid.
What Matt's approach does differently based strictly on the Matt Wolf note. His approach is agent-centric. Compose reusable skills plugins, then give agents structural memory through a queryable graph. Yours is knowledge-centric. Build a private, curated, auditable corpus first, then expose it via a minimal retrieval contract. His described Graphify style layer would complement your vault. It should not replace library.json or the processed source documents. General knowledge, not vault evidence. The best fit is likely to retain your current catalog and markdown corpus as the system of record, then add graph extraction as a derived, rebuildable index. Don't make a graph database the only copy of your knowledge. That would swap one useful map for a new single point of failure.
Okay, so again, we've got connection. A primary goal, improve my knowledge vault. But this is what I was noticing, is in these 2 queries we ran, it seemed to spend a lot of time. So I did throw the question back into ChatGPT and asked about speed now. This is where we're coming up with the whole idea of chunking and embedding, which I think we've talked about over the last couple of episodes about we need to be moving into that. That's why we're now calling this version 0.8, because we're into the chunking and embedding stage. Improve knowledge vault retrieval. So ChatGPT retrieves only the most relevant chunks of information instead of whole documents. So it made a change to the Knowledge Vault MCP file. What did it do there? It added in the client's instructions, blah, blah, blah. So there's some changes made there, and the MCP made some changes in here. And so this is part of the way the system works. Look, I'm not going to try to explain that. I'm still learning this interface as I go along. Bear with me. I'm an engineer, a retired engineer, trying to catch up with what's been happening for 10 years, and it's a crash course. So you're not going to get improved, fine-tuned videos out of me. You're going to get the what the fuck happened this time, sort of questions and answers out of me, because I'm learning as I go along. But ultimately, we did make some changes. We've now chunked the thing, and we're doing some more testing now. Actually, I'm running out of documents to check with it, and I'm still trying to work out where I need to go next, which of course brings me back to where we are here. Go back to that so you don't read all my... Yeah, I did clean it up. Okay, so where are we? I think we're just here.
If I were drawing your roadmap today, I'd say Stage 1, document retrieval. Stage 2, chunk retrieval. Stage 3, semantic retrieval. Embeddings. Stage 4, hybrid retrieval, lexical plus semantic. Stage 5, graph reasoning where it genuinely adds value. The key point is that each stage builds on the previous one rather than replacing it. So yes, I'd now go back to ChatGPT work and ask exactly the same questions you asked earlier. Compare how long it takes, whether the answer is more focused, whether it cites the chunk it used. If the answers become noticeably more concise and the retrieval feels more on target, then you've just proven that chunking alone delivers a measurable improvement. That's a very useful result because it means you don't have to rush into embeddings until you can identify a problem that chunking doesn't solve.
That's where we currently are now with the project, and I'll probably stop this video here. I know my 10-minute formats is probably always going to be 20 minutes no matter what I do, but again, that's part of the... Sorry, I just bumped my can of drink and then the camera. But yeah, again, what can I say? Follow along. As I said, I'm no expert at this thing here, but one thing I'm looking for is other channels that are doing the sort of thing that I'm doing so I can plug into them as well. If you want to plug in here, then plug in here. If you've got any suggestions for other channels that are doing this sort of stuff that, cover the basics, the layman's approach of, working with LLMs and how to make it work for you, well, this is one channel. Tell me some others. I'm quite keen to learn more. As I said, we do have our Discord community. You're quite welcome to jump in. Who am I making these videos for? Well, when they jump in and ask me questions, that usually fields some questions that I can usually put into the whole retrieval process to make a video out of. So I might be making these videos for half a dozen people. I'm happy about that. If I'm making for a few million people, I'll be more happy about that. But it's up to you guys to sort of share the video, tell people that I'm doing this stuff, and connect me, make me sort of connected to other people that might be interesting. As I said, I've been asleep for 10 years, so I need to find out what's going on and catch up and then steer projects to make it worthwhile for me too. And maybe teach some people along the way. That's what I used to do. Back into the swing of things, I don't think of. Anyway, I'm talking too much again, so I will say see you later. Thanks for our Patreons and members for sticking around with us and keeping me honest. And again, I drink a lot of coffee, so you might want to hit me up with a coffee. Okay, peace out, have fun, and we'll see you next episode. We're going to do some embeddings, I believe.